I, F31, in a relationship with M42, who served 20 years jail, don't know how to navigate. Preface this with being a lurker, and this is my first ever post. He disclosed everything before we first met. He's never hurt a woman or child. Been out for 3 years. Been seeing each other for 10 months, still early days. I've been a sole parent to a teenager who has a very screwed on head. I'm financially independent, earn a very good buck, with a mortgage, sons in private school etc. My son and him have semi-bonded. Partner has basically moved in. Helps out where he can. Helped him get permanent work etc. etc. I'm a patient woman. He loses his head pretty quickly, but not when my son is around. Either way I've been navigating it as best I can. Still learning. I don't know what mental torture 20 years does to a person. So I have made a lot of compromise there. Everyone deserves a chance. 5 months ago, he wanted to end things because he was messed up in the head, but wanted to see how things go with me. I find out he slept with an ex from 20+ years ago he's been in comms with as a teen, before seeing me face to face to properly end things. He cheated, I'll get over that in time, but gave him another chance. He hasn't learned how relationships work on the outside, I guess. Then he wanted me to meet his good friend, who he's had lunch dates with since he's been out. He met her while in prison. I was cool with that. Sweet. Since the ex thing, and with aim to building trust, I asked to see the nature of the conversations between them two, his good mate, which he let me see. Then as I scrolled up, he snatched the phone and didn't want me reading any further. I asked why. What's he hiding? After a while he said because he asked her if she wanted to be more than friends. He then let me read. Then I saw that we were exclusive at this time he sent this, calling it off with me and fucking his ex at the same time. She confirmed she wanted more than friendship but not yet. And he's kept in contact since. I stayed calm. Like when I found out about the ex thing. I tried bringing it up with him recently that it makes me uncomfortable, he gets super defensive about it. Turned into a massive fight. Only a few weeks ago he acknowledged that he cheated on me with the ex thing, when we weren't properly broken up, but he gets so angry when I bring it up to try to understand where his head was at. This whole thing is written so scattered, because that's where my head is at. I love the guy. Question. Am I being over the top? Is this worth the effort? Am I giving too many allowances? Edit. I've been in a vacuum. As harsh as some of these comments are, I appreciate the insight, I needed to hear it. I didn't realize how much of a doormat I am in this relationship. Fool I am. Edit 2. I'm human, mean words aren't needed. I'll do better, but running me down doesn't help. The amount of excuses you make for this person is alarming. You navigate this by kicking him out. He's an attempted murderer. He is unemployed. He's living off of you. He's perfectly capable of controlling his anger around everyone but you. He's a serial cheater. He is manipulating you. This man is a violent felon and you moved him into your house with your teenage son? What are you thinking? What makes you think this person wouldn't become violent with you, your son, or anyone else? You seem to be able to function in life, so why do you think this guy is what you deserve? Is there a man shortage where you live? Why are you willing to settle for what seems to be the absolute worst of the men out there? BF annoyed with me because of nip slip. Throwaway. I went to the beach with my family yesterday wearing a little sundress. My man's a boob man and it was pretty low cut, so I sent him a couple pics, as you do. I said I was nervous my boobs would fall out as I was wearing it without a bra, but it was 30 degrees and we're not used to that heat here, so I was like, who cares? My skin is melting. Let's just get to the beach. When I was leaving and picking up my stuff, I noticed a woman give me a funny look and I looked down and my nip was out. I went, oh shit, my nipple's out, popped it back in and carried on. I texted my boyfriend saying, my nip fell out. Mortified, and he seemed to be annoyed. Later he asked questions, who saw? What happened? I just answered and laughed it off cause it's literally not a big deal to me. I was a bit embarrassed, but it's the beach, and it's a heatwave and literally who cares? He went to bed early, refused to speak to me, refused to tell me what was wrong. This morning he messaged, still very off. I asked him to explain what's wrong. He said he's annoyed that everyone saw my nipples and I just laughed about it and said, oh, my nipple is out. He said he's annoyed because he thinks I did it to get attention. I just can't understand. I do plan to talk to him to explain to him why he's wrong, but I can't avoid that this just feels like a red flag to me. Like, my nip popped out for 20 seconds, I laughed it off, and he's annoyed at me? I get he might not find it funny, but to actually be annoyed and make an accusation. IDK, thoughts? Edit. I did speak to him about it. He maintains he thinks I did it on purpose and was drawing attention to myself. I give up. How old is he and how long have you been dating? This isn't the worst red flag in the world, but the situation shows him to be at least incredibly immature and fairly possessive. This feels telling of how he views you as a person. If his first thought regarding that situation was to think the worst of you, then accuse you of exposing yourself for attention, then that just shows that this man views you as some irrational attention-hungry individual. It's a huge red flag. Throw the whole man away, woman walking. He thinks I did it on purpose and was drawing attention to myself. This right here is its own red flag. The nip slip is actually not a big deal at all. His reaction is, at the very least, concerning. Hard to know if it's jealous that someone else saw it and not him, or just what his problem. Does he have any reason to think you'd be doing this on purpose? I wet the bed. Where do we go from here? Throw away, as I am completely mortified. I, 21 female, live with my boyfriend, 24, of almost a year now. I have chronic nightmares, which he's aware of. Last night, I had one of the more grotesque ones I've had, and woke up at 5 am to the bed soaked under me. He was half awake, watching YouTube as he has issues sleeping. His back was to me, so I quickly stripped the sheet off. We just moved, and until our mattress arrives we are using two twins pushed together separate sheets, and ran out to shower and put everything in the washer. When I came back, he rolled over and grabbed the one thing I forgot, an extra pillow. He then proceeded to say it smelled like pee, and asked if I had wet the bed. Completely and totally horrified, I said I think the cat did. He offered for me to sleep in the bed with him, but I was so embarrassed I just said I'd lay on the couch since I have to get up at 6 for work anyway. He went back to sleep while I scrubbed and triple washed everything. Honestly, I think he knows what happened and is just being gentle on my psyche. I am significant other embarrassed and can't help but think how hard it will be to be attracted to me or comfy me in bed. I'm at work now, and I can't stop think about it. I feel terrible and I can't even face him. Where do I go from here? Edit. Okay, seriously, thank all of you. I have been in tears over how sweet all the comments have been and that you all seem to have similar stories to share. I'm already massively insecure and it just amplified, I guess. You guys sound like wonderful partners and people. Thank you so much. I don't think I'm going to bring it up unless he does, but I can say everyone seriously eased my anxiety. I hope he cares like you all do, and I'm sure he does. Less than 3. Edit again. Came home and all he said was, "Hey, I put the sheets to wash again because our powder laundry detergent didn't fully wash out. Wanna get food?" Not sure if that means he knows. But he sure as fuck was chill about it if he does. He's my favorite person ever. I've thrown up on a couch in front of him and he cleaned it and put me to bed. Wish I could just calm down. I would speak to your doctor about your chronic nightmares and wetting the bed. There may be a medical problem. Girl, don't worry, I peed the bed last week and my husband rolled over, patted the bed under us and asked, "Pee dream?" It happens. If he cares about you, this won't make or break anything. Be easy on yourself. Calm down, is not a big deal and it isn't your fault. You do need to take measures if you think it could happen again, but if your boyfriend is good he won't care. My hubs peed the bed a few years ago during a dream. He was super embarrassed, but it really wasn't that big of a deal to me. We have a mattress pad and washed the sheets, bedding right away. It did not make me see him differently because I love him and shit, air pee, happens. If I were in your BF's place I would be more concerned about the chronic nightmares. Dealing with the underlying issue will more than likely prevent wetting the bed in the future. Should I consider divorce for ongoing problems in an otherwise great relationship? This is a long one, sorry. 25F. I've been with my husband, 24M, since high school, 7 years, and we have 2 young children, 3 and 4 yo. Overall, we have a very good relationship, we communicate about everything, we trust each other, and we do almost everything together. He has his solo stuff and I have mine still. The problems, however, are always recurring. He has mommy issues, so a lot of times he seeks mothering from me, which I've told him again and again I'm not going to do, as I want to be his partner, not his mom, not to mention we have kids now, so he has to step up as a father. He is also a huge slob, as his mom never expected him to clean, she didn't either, so he's used to living in mess. We constantly have to change who does what chores around the house because he lets it get so bad, like mold on dishes, Clothes mildew from sitting in the washer for days. Trash and litter boxes overflowing. Basically, he doesn't do his chores or doesn't do them properly until I step in and take over that chore in exchange for him taking one of mine. He has even tried making excuses when I've seen roaches in his area of responsibility. Again, we have kids, so even if I was okay with living like that, which I'm not, I still would not be okay with raising my kids in this environment. I'm also the sole one raising the kids. I have to be the one to teach them anything, and I have to be the one to deal out punishment like timeouts and taking toys away, etc., because he will either let them get away with too much or he will go overboard with punishments. I feel like a one-woman army most of the time, and I am so consistently stressed, which is terrifying because of my medical history. Let's just say too much stress can literally kill me. Every day I feel closer and closer to this seemingly inevitable demise. Yet I feel like in every other way our relationship is perfect. He listens to me and understands me and doesn't judge me, and we have amazing communication, and he treats me like a goddess, and he's the only man I've ever been able to actually trust not to cheat or anything, and he also believes exactly what I do. Spirituality. It's like what everyone I've talked to could want from a relationship, yet I feel like this relationship might just kill me. Yes, I have talked to him about this, many times. It always gets better for a couple months, then is immediately back to how it was. Too long did not read. Our relationship in general is amazing, but with household stuff he is no help, and I get so stressed out I could quite possibly literally die, due to medical history. Is it worth keeping the relationship for the good parts, or should I divorce him for my health? He needs therapy to deal with the mommy stuff. He doesn't listen to you. He doesn't support you because he is not stepping up on the housework. Therapy needs to deal with that, too. 2-card solution. Therapy or divorce lawyer. I would also explain to him that the way his mom brought him up to never clean is not healthy. If you divorce and he lives in squalor, he may not be able to have the kids stay over. He may only get visits away from his home.